Is this thing working? It's working! We did it! All right, so I came on here a few minutes early thinking that this wasn't going to work and I don't want to go into panic mode, and it worked. So now I'm going to awkwardly sit here for 3 minutes until it is 9 o'clock. That's okay. We've already got a few people on here. I know the camera's here. I've got my notes up here. Hold on, let me rearrange this a little bit. That helps. Okay. If you are already watching, hello. Where are you tuning in from? Where are you watching from? Johan! Hello. I know you. Awesome. Oh, it's so nice to see you here. Yeah, I'm just going to give it a few minutes. Last time I tried to do a live stream was last week. I had scheduled one ahead of time and went into my videos, into the scheduled video, and was like, okay, go live, and it wouldn't work. So at the last possible minute, I was like scrambling to start a new stream, and I thought I was gonna have the same problem this time, and thankfully we didn't. So here we are. All right. How's everything going for you? How's sourcing and everything? Okay, you know, if you need anything, just reach out. Gonna give it about 1 more minute. Yeah, it's cool that you'll be here for this. It's so, you know, it's 8:58. I'll just get into it. So today, I picked this topic today because, well, for a few reasons. Well, first of all, the topic for today is how to go full-time with freelancing. And part of the reason I picked this, for starters, there is a growing trend for sure in the US, and from what I've read and looked into, it's kind of global. A lot of people turning to freelancing over a 9-to-5. People want the flexibility and the freedom. They want the option to make more money, which is great, and you absolutely can get that from freelancing. Also, it is October 15th, so we are still knee-deep in COVID. You know, businesses have started opening back up. Some have switched to remote working, but a lot of people have lost their jobs, still don't have jobs. And a lot of people have used this as kind of a reason to sort of, you know, move on to a different chapter and start their own business. So the tricky part is that freelancing on the side to make a little extra cash is very different from freelancing full-time. And this catches a lot of people off guard. They think that freelancing full-time is just going to be this very natural segue where, oh, I'll just get a few more clients. It's very often not that simple. You know, you are at that point, I always tell you guys, if you're a freelancer, you're a business owner. And building a business that gives you a full-time income it's totally different, especially when you consider, where does freelancing start? It usually starts with something you're passionate about. So for instance, if you're a writer, you might think, I love writing. All I want to do is write. Writing is one skill, but being a business owner is another skill. And a lot of people go into this knowing how to do the thing that they do, right? Social media, graphic design, whatever. They've got that down, but they don't know how to run a business. So two different things, two different hats you have to wear. That's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get going, if you are watching this and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It should be a big red button right below this video. That tells YouTube that you like my content, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That will help me grow this channel. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's first, this is a really important point, so I wanted to include it. And again, I've got my notes over here if you see me looking back and forth. For people who still have another job, whether it's full-time, part-time, whatever, if you've got another paycheck and you're an employee somewhere, how do you know when you're ready to go full-time? This is a biggie. A lot of people will tell you, go for it, take that risk, commit 100%, quit your job and go full-time with freelancing. I will never suggest that. If you've got a paycheck right now somewhere else, whether it's full-time or part-time, A, congratulations, because a lot of people don't. And B, if you lose that with no other income set up, you are going to put yourself under so much pressure and financial stress, and that is going to drive the decisions you make. You're going to make decisions out of panic and fear. And now I know there will be exceptions to the rule. If you've got a ton of money in savings, it might be a different story for you. If you've got a parent or a partner or someone who helps take care of you financially, it might be a different story. But if you are a financially independent individual, I do not suggest you quit your full-time job or your job for the sole purpose of starting freelancing because of that pressure it's going to put on you. The cool thing with freelancing is you can start building it up on the side and it'll snowball, and you're going to get to a tipping point where you're in a place where you can quit your job, you can lose that paycheck, and then focus on freelancing. That's what I suggest you do. But I can't tell you, I don't encourage you to leave your job. One of the things that I've talked about this before in my videos, I am not a huge risk taker. A lot of entrepreneurs aren't, surprisingly. I will take small calculated risks, but I don't take risks that will, if they blow up in my face, if they go wrong, it's something I can't get out of. In fact, well, I guess it's not really taking a risk at all. I try not to do things where there's a really good chance that I'm going to fail. And that's just one of those things. Just hang on a little longer, build up that income from freelancing, and then make the transition. Johan's asking about the snowballing thing. How long does it typically take to get to that point? It's going to depend on how much time you're dedicating to it. If you don't have any other job or anything else taking up a lot of your time, I think you could have a livable income within a couple of months. Could you do it faster? Yes. It also depends on where you're at in your journey. If you are creating a business around something you're already experienced in, like if you're an experienced writer or social media manager, you're going to build up your income faster than someone who is starting from nothing. So it's really hard to give like a solid, one size fits all answer to that. But one thing I can tell you, it doesn't happen overnight, but it doesn't have to take months and months and months and years. It's really about, I always say, work smart, not hard. And I say that not because I want to dismiss hard work. That work ethic will carry you through everything, but especially when we're talking about building a business online. And I can tell you from someone who only used to work hard, I've worked like a dog, and you hit a plateau because you have to learn how to work smart. And this question came from Johan. He's actually a student in my program in Revenue Spark. That's a lot of what that program is designed around. That's why we don't send hundreds of emails. We send, dozens to land clients. So really it's about having a good strategy, because the burnout is real, and don't let yourself get to that point, because I did, and I'm not even joking. I'm like perpetually tired. I am tired for life because I did it the wrong way. And you guys, just so you know, there is a live chat. I'll be back and forth in the chat, and then also we'll have time for questions at the end. So keep them coming. I will scroll back to make sure I didn't miss any. And yeah, any questions you have, drop them in there. How long does it take to start freelancing? Kind of what we just covered. If you just hopped in, just check out the replay once this is up. What are the top demand services? There's a demand for a lot of things. Writing, social media, graphic design, web development. Those are some of the creative skill sets, but you can freelance you can do a lot of things. You could be like a freelance. I was going to say a freelance accountant. I don't even know if that would make any sense. The point is, you can offer any service and charge for it. But the ones that I just listed are the more common creative ones. Video editing, that's a big one. SEO. Do people need webinar copy? That is not something I've seen a lot of people hiring for. Full disclosure, I haven't looked for it, but I don't know how easy it would be to make a full-time income off of that. I learned from Frank Kern, Russell Brunson. Yeah. Okay. This is all good stuff, but I haven't even gotten into the content for today. Keep putting your stuff in the chat. I promise we'll come back to it. Let's get into the tips that I've got for you today. All right. So we're talking, again, just to recap, we're talking about specific things you can do to take your freelancing full time so that you don't need your 9-to-5 anymore. Okay. I've included in here the most important things I could think of. So stick around, hang out with me till the end because these will all help you. The first tip, start your workday by focusing on client acquisition. Start your day with client acquisition, meaning trying to get new clients. The way you need to look at it is wherever your attention goes is what is going to grow. Whatever you pay attention to is what's going to grow. And yes, maintaining current clients is obviously important because you want to hang on to them. But where people so often go wrong is that client acquisition, and again, when we say client acquisition, we mean acquiring new clients. When it comes to acquisition, it's kind of an afterthought because they're so sometimes overwhelmed by their current workload that, of course, getting new clients isn't on their brain. But here's the thing. You can't wait until stuff hits the fan. You can't wait until things go bad and you lose a client to think about getting another client. So no, you're not going to constantly bringing on new clients like every single week because you're going to need time to adjust to your workload. But growth should always be somewhere in your mind. We've all made this mistake. I made it several times. Waiting until you lose a client, you go into panic mode, and then you run out and try to get another client. Don't let yourself get to that point, especially if you want to be actively growing to build up your income. So you have to prioritize growth. Now, this will mean a lot of things. It'll mean sourcing leads, qualifying leads, connecting with people on LinkedIn, sending LinkedIn messages, sending emails, scheduling sales calls, sending proposals. There are always active steps you can take to steadily move yourself forward. Now, does this mean that if you do those things every day, you're going to be landing clients every day? No. Landing a client takes several steps, all right? So, for instance, sourcing the lead, qualifying the lead, connecting on LinkedIn. There are several steps that go into landing a client, and it takes time, especially because part of that time, you're waiting to hear back from them. So that's why you want to chip away at this every single day, because if you wait and, let's say it's a Monday and you're like, I want to land a new client this week. So you start all those steps that I've listed. You might not land a client based on those efforts until next week or the following week. It's not immediate. So you want to always be working towards growth. That momentum should never stop. Even when my business is fine and I know I'm not taking on any more clients at that moment, I'm still almost always sourcing leads, connecting with them on LinkedIn, always. Because I know eventually I'm going to want to go out and land a client. All right? So start your day with acquisition and chip away at it every single day. I'm not telling you to neglect any current clients you might have. The way you hang on to clients is by providing a really good service, but you can't be doing that at the expense of growth. Otherwise, you'll never grow. It's really simple. You got to put your attention on both. I want to point out here, I know there are a lot of people out there trying to sell services that teach you how to land clients with Facebook ads, Google ads. None of this is to comment on the quality of those courses or programs that teach you that, but you do not need them right now. In fact, you might never need them. I don't run Facebook ads. I don't run Google ads. It's not to say they wouldn't help me, but I haven't felt the need for them. I haven't needed them. If you are just starting to build your business and you're trying to take freelancing full time, I'm willing to bet that you're on a budget. You do not need to be investing your money in paid ads. You don't need to buy email lists. You don't need to pay for new leads, new signups. You don't need it. The way I teach it in my program, it doesn't cost my students a dime to source leads, send messages, send emails. You don't need to be paying money for that right now. And if you think, well, to help me get there faster, it won't. I've tried it. I've tried ads in the past. The tricky part, ads are very, very hard to run, especially these days because they're super saturated. They're very competitive. They're very expensive. So you can run an ad and get lots and lots of attention, lots of eyeballs on it, but they're not going to be quality. They're not going to be qualified leads. So it's not a smart use of your money at this point. Save your money. Do it for free. Go out, land a few clients, and then once you're getting some revenue in, if you want to play around with ads, whatever, do so carefully. I've got a video on that. Facebook ads are super tricky. For now, don't run ads. You don't need it. Okay, that was the first tip. Start your day with acquisition. It makes a huge difference. Second tip, set daily and weekly goals for client acquisition. And we're going to get really specific with this. So in this case, when I say set goals, I'm not referring to money goals. There's nothing wrong with money goals. They're great. I've got them. I suggest you have them. But this kind of is an extension of the first tip where I'm talking about working on acquisition every day. You need to be able to measure what you're doing to know ultimately if your efforts are paying off. So this is why we set goals. We need something to measure ourselves against. So as an example, goals might be something like source 20 leads a day or send 10 LinkedIn connection requests a day. Stuff you can control. Okay, now the difference there is land one client a week. You really can't control that. What you can control is the factors that go into landing a client. So sourcing leads, connecting on LinkedIn, sending warm emails, those are things you can control. Those are the things you can measure. Now, if you're setting those goals and meeting those goals, as a byproduct, you're going to be landing clients. But we want to make sure we are very diligent, and again, that we're chipping away at this every day. And hold on here, I'm looking at my notes because I'm about to lose my train of thought. I said to you earlier, if you can't measure your progress, you can't know what's working and what's not, because you don't know what kind of results you're getting. And I want to point out here, this applies to your own business, but it also applies to the service you're offering, as kind of a side note. If you're a writer, you need to be measuring the results that you're getting your clients. So this will mean monitoring their insights and their analytics. If you're a social media manager, monitoring engagement, clicks. That's how you know if what you're doing works. You need to apply that to your own business as well. Just like you're going to work to grow your clients' businesses, you have to apply the same principles to your own. So you're going to set these daily and weekly goals for yourself. And, once a week, a couple times a month, you're going to look at them and say, okay, did I hit my goals? Yes. What were the results? Yes. Where did I gain traction? Where did I lose traction? And you need to be monitoring this every step of the way. This is going to be really helpful in boosting your income, your workload, so that you can go full time with this. You can't treat it like a hobby, because it's not. And you can't treat it like a part-time income, like extra cash, because it's not. This is going to be keeping your lights on. So this is your full-time thing. This is your obsession, your commitment. So setting those goals, and remember, they need to be concrete goals and things you can control and measure. Source leads is not a goal. Source 10 leads a day is a goal, because you can measure it, 10 leads. Connect with people on LinkedIn. That's not a goal. Connect with 10 people on LinkedIn. That's a goal. Make sense? All right, let's keep going. Keep dropping your questions in the chat. I'll come back to them. The third, this is kind of a time management productivity tip, and I share this because you're going to need it. Because the first limiting factor, one of the few limiting factors you're going to run into is time. And that's where a lot of freelancers find that their growth is stunted. They're running out of time. And if you run out of time, you can't make more money. So my third tip is called batching your work. And it's kind of self-explanatory. It means you do your work in batches. And the theory behind this, it's not really theory, it's been proven. We don't do well switching between tasks. That's why humans are terrible at multitasking. We think we're not, but we are. And one of the reasons is because every time you switch between tasks, your brain needs several seconds to refocus on the new task. So now imagine you're switching tasks maybe hundreds of times a day. And we're not just talking about moving from one assignment to another. Every time you're distracted, you're technically switching tasks. So if you stop your work to look at your phone, you're switching tasks. If you stop to talk to someone, you're switching tasks. And every time you do that, every time you are requiring your brain to refocus on something, you're losing time. Also, batching your work helps you move faster because it just, plain and simple, it allows you to focus on one thing at a time. So you don't have to constantly shift what you're doing. So as an example, I'm about to do this after this video. I batch my social media posts. So every week, my social media person drafts up posts in our buffer account. And at the end of every week, usually Thursday, sometimes Friday, but I sit down and I schedule out all of the following week's social media posts. And that's all I do in that one moment. You can batch by client. So if you want to sit down and do all of client A's work for the day and then all of client B's work, you can batch by type of work. If you want to, focus on writing blogs in the morning and then in the afternoon scheduling out social media posts, the point is to organize your work by some sort of type. And I know I'm hearing the words coming out of my mouth, and I know this is like, well, big deal. What else you got? It will make such a huge difference. And again, I want to reiterate this because time is a huge issue for freelancers. And I always like to say, time is one thing you spend and you never get it back. It's gone, which is terrifying, but it's also a really good reminder to take your own time seriously, take other people's time seriously, and really use it wisely, especially if you're trying to go full-time with your freelancing, where so many freelancers run into a huge problem is that they have 1, 2, 3 big clients who are taking up all their time, but they're not making the money that they want. And there could be a number of reasons for this. Maybe you're undercharging. That's a very likely possibility. Or maybe, plain and simple, you need to learn how to work faster. And I know that it sounds so easy. Just work faster. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Let me just flip the switch and I'll work faster. There are ways to work faster. One of them is batch your work. All right. I didn't include this, but I want to throw it in because it makes good sense. While you're at it, when you are working on a specific task or you're working on a certain client, set a timer and monitor how much time you're spending per task, per client, and review it at the end of a week or a couple weeks. This is going to be really revealing because you're going to know exactly where your time goes. You need to become a little bit of a time ninja, okay? You have to know where every minute of your day is going if you want to be able to scale your income. And that even goes for things like social media. I know iPhones do this already. I downloaded an app yesterday. I think it's called Moment. Because I want to more closely monitor how much time I'm spending on social media. I'm like everyone else. You get like sucked into this black hole, and then before you know it, it's like 45 minutes have gone by and you're still swiping. I know I want to use my time wisely because I'm growing my business, and I suggest you do the same. So that means knowing where your day is going, where your minutes and your hours are going. You will be surprised when you see where your time is being used. But that will be really good information for you because you're going to be able to see where you can reduce that time spent and put it towards growing your business. Next tip. Front load your mornings in the beginning of the week, and I'll explain what I mean. Do your hardest, most intense, most soul-sucking tasks first. Do them first thing in the morning and do them as early in the week as possible. So we all do it. I just did it this week. I had an assignment that I knew was due this week, and I was like, Monday I was like, I could do it today, but I'll just wait till later. Tuesday I was like, I could do it today, but I don't want to. So yesterday I finally forced myself to sit down and do it, get it done, get it out of the way. Get it done. And this is like a mental thing, but again, it makes a huge difference. Once you're over that hump, remember, we're talking about getting the hardest stuff done first. Once it's done, the rest of the day, the rest of the week, feels like a walk in the park. And it's good for your morale and it's good for your productivity because the hardest part is done. And it makes such a big difference. And I know, yes, the app was called Moment. Sorry, I just saw that. I know it's tempting because I always tell you guys work off of a to-do list. I have one. The website's called Todoist. Let me drop that in the chat actually. This is the online to-do list I use. It is free. I think they have a paid version. I use it for free. And it's funny because when we're trying to whittle down our to-do list, we always go after the quickest stuff first. And some people will tell you, if you can do it in less than 3 minutes, get it done. And I agree with that. But what we usually end up doing is we tackle our to-do list from easiest to hardest, or from the shortest task to the longest task. And then what ends up happening? At the end of the day, when we're tired, when we're less productive, when we're cranky and sluggish and our brain isn't firing on all 4 cylinders, we're doing the hardest work. It's completely backwards. So even though it kind of might go against human nature, just try it. Force yourself to do the most difficult work first. And I'm telling you, you're gonna it's like a sigh of relief because after that, everything else feels a million times easier. And this is not kind of a time management thing, but also like a productivity mindset thing. I notice I get way more done and I'm able to do better work and I enjoy it more when I get the stuff that is the hardest out of the way first. And that's just a habit I live by now. It's made my workload more manageable. And I think it's just because we're doing the hardest stuff when we're our most fresh. I work faster, which, I'm saying this now, and it sounds like such a no-brainer, but it's really not. When you think about it, when we tackle our to-do lists, we do the easiest stuff first. Don't leave the hardest stuff until the end of the day or the end of the week, especially the end of the week. Who wants to do their hardest work on a Friday? I don't. Okay, next. Another biggie. I keep saying that about all of these, but that's because they are. I told you I put my best tips in here. Create rules and boundaries for your business and stick to them. I'm going to repeat this. I know I'm sounding like a broken record. If you are a freelancer, you are a business owner. You have a business and you need to treat it like one. So what a lot of us do is, because we're eager to grow and make more money, we're very easygoing with our clients. We work nights, we work weekends, which sometimes you have to do. If a client asks for something, we agree to it. If they ask us to lower our rates, we agree to it. If they ask us to, can you do this real quick? I get those emails all the time. I hate them. We agree to it. And that will stunt your growth. That will stop you from growing. You are going to burn out. And if you're rolling your eyes when I talk about burnout, knock it off. Because I've been there. A lot of business owners have been there. And I told you, I am still paying the price. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and work pretty much until I went to bed. And I am tired. I have been tired for years. I don't know if I'll ever not be tired again. And it was my own fault. Okay? So we want to avoid that. And you don't need to do that to grow. You don't need to do that to make a lot of money. I work less than I ever have, and I'm making more money. There's a reason for that. It's not an accident. So I want to give you a few examples. Have business hours. Even if you are working at night or you're working on a weekend, be very careful with that because you need to unplug, but it happens. Don't be available to your clients nights and weekends. As a business, set business hours, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever makes sense. But when your business closes, even though it's an online business, you're done. Don't respond to emails. Don't answer your phone. You have to set these standards from the beginning because once a client gets used to having you whenever they want, they're going to take advantage of it. Not necessarily maliciously. They're not trying to, be mean or anything, but they're going to love that you're there at their beck and call. Don't do it. That might feel manageable when you have 1 or 2 clients, but pretty soon you're going to have 5 clients or 10 clients. You can't keep up with that, nor do you want to. It will stop you from growing. Have business hours, stick to them. Outside of those hours, don't talk to clients. They can wait until the next business day. They're not going to fire you. The world's not going to explode. Everything will be fine. Okay? Do not text with clients. That's another one. Learn that one the hard way. Texting is tempting. It's how many, if not most of us, communicate these days. We like it because it's easy and it's casual. That's the problem. It's casual. So, excuse me, you start texting with clients, it is a very slippery slope because there is nothing that is going to stop them from texting you real quick at 9 o'clock at night or texting you real quick on a weekend. And they know you got their text, so they're expecting an answer. You're not available. And that's why, honestly, just don't text. Don't make it an option for your clients. When you bring a client on board, you make clear to them you are available by email, phone call. We're going to talk more about this in a minute. If they want to schedule a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet meeting, like during your business hours, you're not available by text, don't text me. Just take my word for it. Your phone number. Consider having a separate phone number for your business only. You do not need to pay for a separate line. You don't need to buy a new phone. If you're in the US, you can use Google Voice. If you are outside of the US, there are alternatives. And what it is just a separate number that you have. It's still, your phone will ring, but it's someone calling your business line. I wish I had done this sooner. Again, it comes with boundaries. That's what, it's all about boundaries. When people have your personal number, they treat it like you're just a personal contact. Like, oh yeah, the chick who does my writing or my social media, I'm just going to call her up real quick. And of course, if someone calls your personal number and it's outside of business hours, you have the option just not to answer, which I suggest you don't. But having a separate line really helps. You're in the beginning, when you're first building up your business, you're not going to see a reason for these boundaries. I'm telling you right now, because it's going to feel easy to manage. Like, sure, I'll just give them my personal number. Who cares? But I promise you, later on down the road, this is going to come back to bite you, and it's hard to undo. I had to send an email to every client because I finally got that one pain in the butt client who abused everything. Texting, calling all the time, and usually to complain. That's another story. So I went and got a Google Voice number for free. It goes to my phone, but it's a separate number, so I know if it's someone calling for business. And I had to send an email to every client and very sternly tell them, I am no longer available at this number, which was my personal cell. I'm also not available by text. Do not text me. These are your options for communication. And I had to lay down the law because they were taking advantage of it. And again, my own fault. If I had set boundaries, that wouldn't have happened. So set the boundaries, do it from the beginning. You're running a business. And remember, I've said this before, I'm going to point it out again. A lot of freelancers go into this with an employee mindset. You're not an employee. You're not applying for a job when you're trying to land a client. When you're an employee, it's you and it's the boss. This is not you anymore. This is you. Okay? Employee, boss, not you. Freelancer, client. You are on the same level because you're both business owners. You don't work for them, you work with them. It's a partnership. I look at it as a collaboration. In fact, that's usually what I call it with my clients. It's a collaboration, a partnership. You are on the same level. All right? That's what all of this boils down to. Get out of the employee mindset. You're not an employee anymore. I saw one question that I don't want to miss because it's really relevant. Would you make an exception to those boundaries if you've scheduled a call with a client in a different time zone? Thank you, Johan. Yes. Still within reason, though. So, for instance, I've got people I work with in India, and they are aware I'm in Las Vegas and that there's a huge time difference. So we meet in the middle. They do not expect me to 100% cater to them, nor do I. So that usually means when we need to get on a call, which they're very respectful of my time and they only schedule calls when they absolutely need it, which is what clients should do. I usually get up a little early and they stay at the office a little late. So there's still, I believe there should still be a compromise. But yeah, you're right. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way. That is the exception. But I also want to point out on that note, when you're working in different time zones, it doesn't need to be like crazy on your schedule. I've worked in multiple time zones at this point. And it's never been like outrageous having to get up at like 4 a.m. Now, if you're trying to land a client, like if it's a potential client and you're just doing whatever you can to land them, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you what to do there because I get that. I've been there. But in terms of like establishing that long-term relationship, you guys, the client should be willing to meet you halfway. And I've never had a problem with that. I've never had a client be like, no, I'm not going to do that. So again, if it's a lead, because Johan, I know a good example, you got up at some ungodly hour. I think it was like 3:30 in the morning to get on the phone with a lead. I get that. And honestly, like if I felt that that's what I needed to do if I was trying to land a client, I might do it. But don't establish that as the standard is what I'm saying long-term. The call was scheduled at 3:30 a.m. I got up even earlier than that. Yeah, no joke. So if you guys are watching this, we've got Johan on the live stream, and he's one of my students in Revenue Spark in my program. And God bless this guy. He got up before his call. He had a call with a lead at 3:30 a.m. And he got up. He's saying he got up before that. And when he told me that, when he told the group that, I was just like, yeah, like. That's incredible. I admire, that's work ethic right there. So if you're doing that to land a client, right on. But I just want to remind you, like for your own sake, your own health, don't let any client talk you into making that the norm. But yeah, time zones, we've all got to be flexible, but within reason. Good questions. And again, if I haven't gotten to your question yet, I will scroll back in the chat. So keep them coming. All right. So we were talking about having a separate business number. Oh, okay. Something else in terms of boundaries. Tell clients ahead of time what kind of turnaround times they can expect. When I say turnaround times, I mean how quickly you're going to return work to them. And the reason I bring this up, I've mentioned this already, but the reason I bring this up is because you will get clients that will contact you and they'll say, hey, can you do this real quick? They want you to do something right now. And sometimes it's not even real quick. Sometimes it takes way longer than they think it will. So that's part of the problem. But if it happens once in a while, it's okay. But imagine you've got a couple clients doing it on a regular basis and you're growing your business. It's going to get out of hand very quickly. You can't just keep doing these favors where, oh, sure, I'll stop my day and do this real quick. If that's not part of your agreement, if that's not part of your contract with the client where they want you available in the moment, don't do that. Don't make that okay. Don't make that part of the agreement with them. You let them know that if they contact you out of the blue, asking you to do something that's not part of your normal workload, what kind of turnaround can they expect? And, one of the tricky parts with having an online business is that because we do so much in real time and because the internet never shuts down, people think that you're okay sitting at your computer, and if they email you and say this, hey, they say, hey, do this right now. You're like, okay, sure, I'm on it. No. That's a different kind of job. If they want someone who's there to do things on a whim, then, if you're okay with that, then okay, I would charge them more for it because it's more demand on you and your availability. But that's just something, again, I did this wrong, totally screwed it up. I'm still trying to fix it because clients got very used to me doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And it got out of hand very quickly because I scaled my business. I grew it very nicely. But when you've got 12 clients and many of them think that they can call, email, whatever, asking you to do something right now, you don't get anything done. It just totally screws up the whole day. So that's a big one. It's tempting. It's easy to slip into. You have to stop yourself. Again, once in a while, it's okay. And you're going to know. You're going to have these rock star clients who are so great to work with. And they might reach out to you one day and they're like, oh my God, can you please help us out with this one thing? And if that were the case and it happened to me and it was a great client, otherwise I wouldn't be like, no. So, you got to use your best judgment. But the point is, don't let it become a habit. E. Dunlap said in the chat, never be too available, period. Yes. Don't make yourself too available. Yes. Something else I did. And it's funny because this is like something we're proud of, that we're there for you all the time, no matter what. You're not a monkey. You're not like a performing monkey. No, you should not be available all the time. You're working. You're running a business. It's that simple. I got a client. Oh, God. I messed up so bad with this client. I made myself too available. I made myself a doormat. I bent over backwards doing whatever they wanted. And God, I paid for it. So I caught myself being too available and too agreeable and too, sure, no problem, whatever you want. And one day I finally snapped and I was like, I got to undo this. So I started backtracking. And I actually mentioned in my last stream, their reaction was that I was becoming argumentative because I wasn't doing whatever they said. But it's funny, I always used to pick up their phone calls, always, even if I was in the middle of something really, really important. I had to stop doing that. And I didn't stop doing it just for funsies, but like if I was busy and I was working, I'm not on my phone. I turned off all my notifications. I put my phone upside down and I'm working. And the client said to me one day, like, I noticed a couple times you haven't answered when I first call you. And I was like, yeah, I'm working. And he said, so? It's like, what do you mean? Like, how do you, well, especially if I'm doing your work, what do you just want me to not do your work? It's completely illogical. So yes, never be too available. Learned that too late a few years ago. That's even if you work a regular job. Yeah, good advice, even if you're a 9-to-5er. Learning to say no. Learning to put your foot. There's nothing wrong with saying no. That's something else you're going to have to learn if you want to grow your business. You can't say yes to everything. You don't want to say yes to everything. So yeah, great advice for people, for professionals in general. Let's see, what else? Oh, phone calls. Here's another tip, talking about setting boundaries. Again, setting boundaries will help you grow. If a phone call is going to take more than 5 minutes, you need to tell your clients to schedule it ahead of time. And they can just use Google Calendar. They can use I don't know why I have such a hard time saying this word. Calendly. It is, you can pay for it. You can use it for free. I think I'm still using it for free. I'm putting the name in the chat. It's a calendar where people can set up appointments with you. If you and I have ever emailed, you see my Calendly link in my email signature. Makes it really easy for people to schedule appointments. If it's going to take more than 5 minutes, they need to schedule ahead of time. This is something you tell them when you're onboarding them, when you're bringing them on as a client. That's one of your rules. And even 5 minutes is generous for a phone call that's out of the blue. And again, this is boundaries. You don't want clients calling you up, sucking up 10, 20, 30 minutes of your. I had a client, I stopped working with them. I went bye-bye. He would call me out of the blue, and it would be like a 45-minute call. And at that point, I don't even care if I'm invoicing you for it. I don't want to talk to you. And the thing is, they were never productive. They were never planned. Most of it was just me sitting there on the phone like this. Total waste of my time. Okay? And, well, that's, even if I were to schedule those calls, don't waste my time, period, because you never get your time back. But if it's going to be a lengthy call, tell your clients they have to schedule it ahead of time, period. And again, this is to keep control of your time, of your schedule. And by now, you know that you need to do that if you want to grow. Very simple. If you're watching this and you are just starting to build your business, you're in a really good place because you can do all these things from the get-go, from the beginning. You don't have to do them like I did, where I screwed everything up until a few years in and then had to undo it. Skip all that nonsense. Just do it right from the beginning. Designate time to check your email. This is another biggie. Do not leave your email inboxes open all day, because what you're going to do is while you are working, you're going to get distracted, which you know by now how much time that will suck up when you're switching between tasks. And you're going to see, I got a new email, and you're going to read it and respond to it if necessary. It can wait. Designate. What I do is I check my email first thing in the morning, around lunchtime, and then I'll check it like once or twice before I leave for the day. And if you have 3 times spread out, there will never be an email that's waiting that long to get responded to. Because if someone sends you an email in the morning and you miss it, you'll see it at lunch. It's a few hours later. If they send it around lunchtime and you miss it, you'll see it before you leave. It's a few hours later. And if someone sends an email after business hours, you're not going to respond to it anyway because your business closes. Email is super distracting. The numbers vary, but some people say we get over 100 emails a day. Some people say over 120 emails a day. There have been some estimates that say that professionals spend 4 hours a day in their inboxes. The numbers vary. The point is, it will suck up your life if you don't control it. And again, I know this goes back to being too available. I used to pride myself on the fact that I respond to emails like this. The client loves it, sure, but does it take away from my skill as a professional if they have to wait a couple hours for a response? No. No client has ever been like, I really wish you would respond immediately. No, that's not what emails are intended for. Email, it's electronic mail. We used to send letters in the mailbox and have to wait weeks for a response. So emails aren't like immediate contact. Immediate contact is a phone call. So don't feel bad not responding to emails right away. You don't need to. And if it's something super, super urgent, like a client's site is down or they were hacked or whatever, they'll let you know. They'll get a hold of you. 99% of the time, it's not urgent. All right. Okay. Woo! So I'm going to recap these. Remember, these live streams do stay up on my channel. YouTube takes a while to process them, probably because they're so long. So you can expect to see the replay probably by tomorrow morning my time. It's 9:46 a.m. here. But in case you came on late, let's recap these. Tip number 1, start your workday by focusing on client acquisition. Prioritize growth. If you want to grow your business, you have to prioritize growth, period. 2, set daily and weekly goals for client acquisition. Goals are concrete things that you can control and you can measure. Land a client a week is not a goal. Source 50 leads a week is a goal because you can control it. 3, batch your work. Do your work in batches. I told you before, one of the biggest limiting factors to your growth is going to be time, which means you have to become a time ninja. You have to learn how to manage your time like an effing magician. Batching your work is going to help you so much. Do one type of work, and then do another type of work, and then do another type of work. The less you're switching between tasks, between topics, the more you're going to get done. 4, front load your mornings and the beginnings of the week. Do your hardest work first, or similarly, the work that you hate the most. If you hate it, or if it's really hard, really intense, get it out of the way. And 5, create rules and boundaries for your business and stick to them. That's another one. This is all stuff I have screwed up, and I put it in this video for a reason. I know, and I'm telling you this because I've been there, I know it's really easy to dismiss some of these things, especially if you're just starting out. But it will pay off so much if you do it the right way from the beginning. You don't have to make the mistakes that I did. Just do it from the beginning. I messed these up, and like I told you guys earlier, a few years in, I was paying the price, literally and figuratively, because it stunted my business's growth. I wasn't able to take on more clients. I was exhausted. I hated what I was doing. And all of that affects your bottom line. You can't make more money if those things are happening. All right. Okay. I am turning back to the chat now. Give me one moment because I need to scroll back. Where's my mouse? I need to scroll back and catch up. Just give me one moment. I don't want to miss anyone. Okay, I think this is where I left off. I am trying, this is from Justice, welcome. I am trying to enter the financial niche or the information product niche. The truth is that I am told about insurance and bonds and those technical terms. So I am forced to read on insurance and financial corporate stuff. As a beginner, it can be overwhelming. Yeah, I bet. But then I'm trying to know, is that really what I need to do to be firm in the financial niche before I can cold email, or what do you think? So when you're picking a niche, and guys in general, if I'm addressing your question and I don't answer what you're asking, tell me so I can help you. When you are picking a niche for your business, it should meet a few requirements. 1, it should be something you enjoy. And 2, it should be something you know a lot about or you're willing to learn a lot about. So that should be reassuring, because if you feel like I don't have anything I know really well, it's okay. Find something you enjoy and you need to start learning about it. And remember, when you pick a niche, the point is to position you as an expert of that niche, which helps you stand out from your competition. This is why, excuse me, freelancers who have a niche make so much more money than generalists. So Justice, what I would say to you, and again, if I'm not answering your question, tell me, if you don't know these things yet, it's okay. But if you're finding that you need to know these things in order to work in that niche, you need to learn them and understand them, because they're going to come up. I would just say you have to take, if you're going to move forward with that niche, take a very, 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 very active role in becoming a student of that niche and learning as much as you can. Chip away at it every single day. Every day, learn something new about your niche, because you won't be able to get away with not knowing these things if you're noticing already that they're popping up. But if you really like the financial niche, don't let that discourage you. I recently started working with a couple of tech companies. It just happened. Tech's not my niche. And they know that. I'm learning. And there are words, I look at them and I'm like, is this even English? But I'm learning. And they're helping me learn. And that's okay. No big deal. But remember that about your niche. You're picking something to become an expert of. So you'll have to learn about it. May you please repeat the name of the app? Yeah, that was Moment. There's another one called In Moment that I had downloaded first, and then it wouldn't work. It kept crashing for me, but it's supposed to be a good one. We got that one. Oops. Oh, let's see. As a beginner freelancer, Navia. I feel like we talked before. As a beginner freelancer without testimonials, will clients hire us through cold emails? Yes. Yes. Everyone starts somewhere. Yes, you can get hired without testimonials. I would be mindful of collecting testimonials as you grow your business. It's another great point. Thank you for bringing this up. And remember, testimonials can be something as simple as positive feedback you got about a blog you wrote or something you posted on a client's social media. It can be casual. They just said a couple nice words about your work. Or once you've been working with someone for long enough, establish the relationship. Don't ask for a testimonial after working with them for a week. Ask them. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not going to be turned off. You can say, hey, I'm trying to grow my business. Would you be willing to provide a testimonial? And you can even give them a prompt, like a few questions, so that they know what kind of answers you're looking for. You could send them like, what has it been like working with me? Have I been pleasant to work with? Have I delivered good results? And prompt them so they know what to respond. They might not need it, but they might. But yeah, don't worry. Getting started can feel like the most overwhelming part, but all you have to do is take action. And this is like a visual thing for me. I literally, when I'm getting like overwhelmed or stressed out, I literally look down at my feet on the floor and I do this with my eyes. This is going to sound so nutty, but it works for me. I do this and I look down at my feet and I literally imagine one foot in front of the other. And that's it. And I told another one of my students, she was getting really overwhelmed trying to finish her website. And I said, if you are making progress every day, you have nothing to worry about. If you stall, then something is wrong. But if you make progress every day, you are just fine. Okay? And on that note, if you are a total beginner and you don't have samples yet, you go make your own samples. You don't have to have a paying client to have samples of your work. All right? You just go make them up. Clients just want to know that you know what you're doing. Okay? I have hired total newbies and it worked out just fine. So don't worry. Catching up on the chat. Give me a moment. Never be too available. Yeah. Yes. Worth repeating. Yeah, Navia, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Don't hesitate. It's okay. Actively collect testimonials as you work with people, but what are your options? If you're saying I'm hesitating to begin without testimonials. How do you get a testimonial if you don't begin? Don't worry. Don't let the fear stop you. Just go. I am starting. This is from they don't. I am sorry if I'm butchering these. I am starting a content services agency. Do you have any idea from where I can get clients? Anyone? Yeah. So this is what I teach in my program. I'm not sure if he's still here. One of the students in my program might still be on the stream right now. Revenue Spark. That's exactly what we teach, what we cover, how to get clients, where to get clients, what to say to them, when to say it, how to email, how to set up the sales call. Getting clients, there's no magic trick. It comes down to having the right process. That's all it is. It's the process. It's actually, I feel like it's probably simpler than people think. And what a lot of you might be experiencing is that you have a lot of the pieces of client acquisition, but you just don't know how to put them together. And that's the tricky part. And full disclosure, I ran into the same problem with my own business recently. Different context, not landing clients, obviously. But I was really stuck trying to grow a part of my business. And I knew I had some of the pieces, but I was just ripping my hair out trying to figure out how to put everything together because there are so many moving parts. And I was at that point where I was like, okay, I can either keep beating my head against a wall, it's not working, I'm not making any progress, or I can get help. So I enrolled in a program that was very expensive. It was totally worth it, paid itself off. But I got help. I got a mentor and a community and learned exactly what I needed. So really, I know if you feel like you've got the pieces, you might have some of the pieces, but it's making them all work in harmony. So that's one of the really cool parts about Revenue Spark. I saw that on your LinkedIn profile. Yes. Yeah. I talk about it on all my social pages. So to tell you a little bit about the program, it covers the entire process of client acquisition from the very beginning to the very end. So I start with teaching you how to source leads. So I show you 6 places to find leads, how to qualify your leads. Because remember, we want to pick out leads that we know can afford us. We don't want to be making $5-10 a gig. This isn't Fiverr. This isn't Upwork. We're trying to build you a business that will sustain you and support you for life. So we need clients who can cough up the money. And that's part of the process, finding clients who can pay. And then it takes you through the entire process, connecting with them on LinkedIn, sending the email, scheduling the phone call. Everything has a call. All the way up to setting them their proposal, which I teach you how to craft a proposal. And the proposal is the last step before they say yes. So you get guidance for the entire thing. It's a self-paced program, but so you go through it on your own, but you have all the support you could need. You have direct access to me. If we need to get on a live Zoom call, we do that so I can answer all your questions. We have a private Facebook group for students only. So you never have to do it alone. And I feel like that's part of the relief of being a part of a program is knowing you're not alone anymore. And that, I swear to God, that was worth my investment in the program that I enrolled in. Just joining a community of like-minded people who are all going through the same thing. Because you're not alone. You are never alone. Landing clients is probably the hardest part of building a business. If you're a writer, you might be an amazing writer. If you're a graphic designer, you might be really, really good at it. Web developer, whatever. But you can be really good at those things and not know how to land clients. And it's not because you're stupid. It's just because it's not something you've been taught yet. And that's okay. Robert here from Kenya. I am a beginner in the finance niche. Basically, I do write business plans, pitch decks, and other investor materials. How can I get clients? Hi, Robert. So that's kind of what I was saying a moment ago. You can check out the replay and just like if you want to even scroll to this part. But what I want to do is I'm going to drop a couple links in the chat. Some of you might already have this freebie, but just in case, this is a free guide that will start teaching you how to use LinkedIn and email to land clients. So the process that I teach for landing clients, the relationships start on email or start on LinkedIn and then go to email. So it's technically warm emailing. We warm the lead up on LinkedIn first. So that guide will show you how to start setting up your LinkedIn, and then there's also an email template in there. and you can copy paste that template into your Gmail or whatever you're using, plug in your own details, and off you go. So that's the first thing. The second thing I'm dropping in there, I've got too many tabs open. I am going to put my Calendly link in the chat. This is not for coaching calls. I do not do coaching calls unless it's with students. If you think you might be interested in enrolling in Revenue Spark, which is my program where I teach you how to land clients, you can use that link and you can schedule a call with me. There's no commitment beyond that. It's just the call. And you can tell me more about your business and your goals. I'm going to ask you about, what you've tried so far to land clients, if you've gotten to that point, and see if there's a way that the program can help you, if I can help you. Enrollment is not open to the public. You can't just go and enroll online. And it's because I only enroll people if I'm very confident they'll get results. I don't want anyone joining the program if it's not going to work for them. So that's why we start with a phone call. And, you just let me know you were on this live stream. But yeah, we'll talk about you more and your business, your goals, your pain points. And I can tell you about the program. You can ask me any questions you have about it. And if you're interested, we can keep moving forward. So again, it's just the call, just to talk about the program and your business. There's no commitment beyond that at that point. Hi, Deepak. No worry if you came in late. This will be up on my YouTube video. Again, YouTube takes a while to process it, so it might take about a day. But all of my live streams stay up on my channel. And I also set it so that the chats should stay on as well. So you can always view these. My last 2 live streams are up, the replays. So no worries if you jump in late. But yeah, so that's about all I've got for you today. I'll hang out for another minute or so if you have any questions about what we covered today, or if you have any questions about the program. Again, if you think you might be interested, schedule a call, because I'm going to want to know more about you, more than we can talk about right now. And yeah, that's about it. So again, I'm going to hang out for a second. And if you have any last minute questions, let me know. But you know how to get a hold of me. You can always reach out after the streams. I'm doing about 2 of these every week, I think, is what I'm settled on right now. So I will be back next week with more. That's very sweet, Deepak. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, and hold on, Robert, I want to reread your last. Yeah, so if you guys are new to me and my channel, first of all, welcome. But go to my main video page. You're on my channel already. Almost all of the content I post is about landing clients. So there's lots and lots and lots of free content there. Very good for beginners, but also if you're like more intermediate, advanced, you're still going to learn something new. And start there. If you're not really ready to commit to a program yet, which happens, start on my YouTube. Lots of stuff. And especially if you're a writer, if you ever see content that's writing specific, it's because that's my background. But I built my business into an SMMA, a social media marketing agency. So you'll also see content on that, but lots of content on landing clients that applies to most of you. So check that out. I will reach out to you regarding the course. Yes, please do. You can either use my Calendly link to go ahead and schedule a call if you want to talk about the program. You can leave a comment on one of my videos, reach out on social, email, whatever. I'm here for you guys. So regardless of what you decide, just remember you are never alone. Landing clients is really difficult for most people. Before I found the process that I used, it was really difficult for me too. The goal is to get you off of job boards and bidding sites. No Upwork, no Guru, no Elance, no Fiverr. We don't want you making a few bucks for a project. We want you making thousands. Talking about building a business. So it's possible. The answers are all there for you. Don't be discouraged if you're a beginner. we all start there. Okay. All right, so I think we covered everything on the chat. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it because your time is valuable. And I will talk to you guys later. All right. Thank you.